So every year after Summer Game Fest wraps, we put together a list of our favorite co-op announcements from the showcase. And you know what topped last year's list? Tears of Metal, a 4-player hack and slash roguelike with a killer art style and hands down the best trailer of the event. It's been one of our most anticipated games ever since, so when we heard an open beta was dropping, we had to check it out. Whether you're just now hearing about it or missed your shot at the beta, don't worry, we got you covered with everything we learned from this early look at the game.
You forget about the lock-on feature until you're facing one of these guys and you're like, no, I'm really glad this is a thing.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, I just sent the whole army on him. That was so sick.
Yeah, I just did mine too. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, we crushed him, dude. That was awesome.
God, I sent my infantry at him and then he was just like,
yeah, I sent all 3 of my army at him and then you did too, and it's just like, he was done. He was done.
That was crazy.
This beta build gave us access to one playable class, one final boss fight, and a small taste of the meta progression. So truthfully, not a ton of content, but even with that limited scope, it was just enough to get a solid feel for the core gameplay loop. Tears of Metal drops you into the Scottish Highlands, leading your battalion in a fight to reclaim your homeland from a mysterious invading force. Each run starts on the western edge of a map, with every territory representing a battle in the larger conflict. Once you drop into the field, your minimap points you to a specific objective. Most of the time that means clearing out enemy legions and their captains, but sometimes you'll be defending a location or taking down a mini-boss. Early battles take place in smaller arenas, but as you push further east, the zones get larger and you'll be tackling multiple objectives. Completing an objective grants you a charm, a passive boost like extra stamina or bonus health. You can also buy these from barrels scattered around the battlefield. Complete all objectives and you'll be offered a choice of 3 perks. These work a lot like boons in Hades, enhancing your attacks based on the supporting clan for that battle. For example, Clan Foresight enhances attacks with these things called fortunes. They're these little green orbs that home in and damage nearby enemies. If you're victorious, you return to the overworld map to start your next battle. You're usually given a choice between 2 paths, each backed by a different clan denoted by their respective icons. You may want to stick with one clan and level up your existing perks, or you can choose to diversify. Interestingly, each player sees their own instance map, so while everyone ultimately chooses the same battle, the associated clan may differ for each player. Beyond battles, you'll also encounter random events, like a sketchy witch offering you a questionable item. Some territories are also just occupied by a traveling merchant with item for sale. Make it all the way to the farthest point and you'll face Giles the Hog, the game's first major boss, signaling the end of Act 1. We're assuming the game takes place across multiple acts, introducing new maps, but this is as far as your journey takes you in the beta. Between runs, you return to the hub, where you can spend your hard-earned currency of coins and crosses on upgrading your main hero and expanding your army at the barracks. And that's about all we got from this beta slice, but it was enough to get us hooked. So now let's break down how it feels to play and share our overall impressions of the game so far.
Look at this one archer.
Yeah.
He's like, oh god.
So do we want to do this little challenge thing? Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what it does.
The
Rumble of a Thousand Footsteps.
Side mission, the Legion.
Man. Oh yeah, there's the big army here. Ooh, okay, yeah. Go for it.
Huge. Let's go. Yeah, I think we almost got him. Yeah, I think we just gotta kill these guys.
What originally grabbed our attention about Tears of Metal was its over-the-top cinematic combat. It looked like Dynasty Warriors by way of Braveheart, and if they could pull that off, we were so in. After getting our thumbs on the sticks, I'm happy to report they've nailed it. Combat makes you feel like a true force of nature even when you're swarmed by enemies. I need to say early on that this isn't a button masher though. You'll need to stay sharp and switch up your combos depending on the situation. You've got the basics: light attack, heavy attack, block, and a dodge, all of which can be enhanced through clan perks. Chain them together and you can pull off slick combo attacks and special moves, like a dash dive that sees you dive into the fray while spinning your greatsword. Land enough hits and you'll you'll fill up your special gauge, which lets you command your troops to perform a special move. Fill it completely and you can unleash a wild super move that can easily mow down a dozen enemies if you position it correctly. There's just enough here for a decent amount of skill expression, with every move feeling responsive and weighty. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be that they've absolutely nailed the feel of combat. Now, given the sheer number of enemies and constant particle effects, co-op mostly means you're doing your own thing. We'd often split up to deal with different enemy clusters, then regroup to tackle enemy captains or mini-bosses. There's not a lot of incentives for team play so far. Still, we did stumble across some team-based charms, like one that triggers an explosion when an ally gets a kill. We're hoping to see more of those, ideally scaling up to builds that reward real synergy, especially when we get to choose different heroes and troop types. We only got to try out 4 clans, but even then we started to cook up some decent builds. On one run, I stuck with Clan Hog the whole way and built up a tanky setup that regenerated health and could suck in enemies with a vortex attack. Andrew, meanwhile, leaned into Clan Caseness, which fires off chain missiles that can ricochet between enemies. He ended up with a build that absolutely shredded bosses. In classic roguelike fashion, a busted build can get you far, but things can take a turn at any moment if you don't stay alert. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and enemies can take a chunk of your health fast if you're not paying attention. Healing is pretty rare too. Unless you're running Clan Hog, your best bet is getting lucky with a healing shrine mid-battle. Even then, it only heals the player who activated it, not the whole crew. Ultimately, a lot of the challenge comes down to situational awareness and knowing when to pull back or push forward. So far, the combat of Tears of Metal is exactly what we hoped for, delivering on that Braveheart style fantasy in all the right ways.
Oh shoot, I got hit. I'm at 50 though. I'm fine. I almost got super.
Super now? Oh, good timing.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, that was huge.
I think we got him. Oh, I just glitched out.
I'm gonna super.
He said. Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
With only 2 hours under our belt, we're pretty excited to see what else Tears of Metal has to offer. There's still a lot we didn't get to see. We're especially curious about how differently the other playable heroes might handle. The troop system, which we've only touched on briefly, also seems to have real potential. Before each battle, we each got to bring 2 captains from 3 different unit types: infantry, spearmen, and archers. We didn't get the chance to level them up or unlock other classes, but the fact that each player brings their own squad into battle opens up a lot of interesting possibilities. One of the more unique mechanics of Tears of Metal is the random encounters you can experience during a run. I mentioned the creepy witch earlier, but on a separate run we stumbled across an NPC named Marriott, coincidentally the leader of Clan McGregor, the force clan available during this beta. She tasked us with reclaiming her forge and tools from enemy forces, and after we completed the objective, she actually joined our squad for the rest of the run. Watching this towering blacksmith swing her hammer beside us in battle was a big highlight, and we're hoping the full game has more moments like that. And lastly, I'd be remiss to not give a huge shout out to the art style, which is just fantastic. It's got this newspaper cartoon look to it, making everything feel hand-drawn, with a dotted texture coming through in the gameplay as well. But like I said earlier, it can lead to a lot of visual clutter, making it hard to strategize or dodge attacks. Hopefully there's a setting to tone it down when the full game releases. From what we've seen, Tears of Metal has all the tools in place to be a solid hack and slash title. Whether it has more co-op mechanics to take it to the next level remains to be seen, but we'll definitely be on the front lines at launch to find out. Thanks for watching, guys. We cover all things co-op games here, previews, reviews, and even news via our co-op monthly series. If you want to stay in the know, make sure you subscribe and follow us on our socials. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon, where we give you first impressions of games via our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter. Thank you to those already supporting us there. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.